In a quiet little town nestled between silver hills lived a girl named Ella Moon. More than anything in the world, Ella loved stories. She'd spend countless hours under the sprawling branches of a giant oak tree, lost in books, her imagination soaring through adventures she could only dream of. But a quiet sadness hung over her town, the local library. A place that should have been brimming with life and stories had been shuttered for years. Its windows were clouded with dust, its doors firmly locked, and the reason why had long been forgotten. But every single night, as Ella walked home, her path took her past the old, silent library. It was a ritual for her. She would pause, press her small hand against the cold, unfeeling glass, and whisper a wish into the darkness. If only I could read just one more story. She felt the pull of the thousands of unread tales trapped inside, their voices silenced behind the grime and neglect. She longed to hear them, to lose herself in their pages once more. Then, one particularly cloudy night, something extraordinary happened. As the town clock tower began its solemn chime for midnight, a strange sound cut through the silence. It was a soft, ethereal whisper, seeming to dance on the wind, and it was calling her name. Ella, come inside. Startled, Ella spun around, her eyes fixed on the imposing silhouette of the library. And then she saw it. The heavy oak doors, which had been locked and bolted for as long as she could remember, were slowly, impossibly, creaking open all by themselves. A faint, warm, golden light spilled out from the crack, flickering and dancing on the cobblestone path like a swarm of magical fireflies. Ella's heart hammered against her ribs, a mix of fear and excitement churning inside her. But her insatiable curiosity, the very thing that made her love stories so much, was stronger than any fear. Taking a deep breath, she took a tentative step forward, and then another, until she crossed the threshold into the unknown. The moment she stepped inside, the world she knew dissolved. This wasn't the dusty, forgotten place she had peered into for years. Everything had transformed. The towering shelves, once dark and grim, now glowed with a soft, internal light, casting vibrant hues of emerald, sapphire, and ruby across the room. Books didn't just sit on these shelves. They floated gently in midair, unbound by gravity, their pages fluttering like the wings of sleeping birds. As she watched, mesmerized, letters of gold and silver would occasionally escape from a page, zipping through the air like miniature shooting stars before vanishing. From behind the grand main counter, a figure emerged. It was a woman, tall and graceful, with an aura of timeless wisdom. Her hair shimmered like spun moonlight, and her eyes were the most incredible part. They weren't just one color. They sparkled with a kaleidoscope of words and symbols, as if they held every story ever written. "Welcome, Ella," she said, her voice as soft as the turning of a page. "You have entered the Midnight Magic Library. This is a special place, a library that only opens its doors for those who truly, deeply believe in the power of stories." Ella gasped, her mind reeling. Are you ... Are you a librarian? The woman's lips curved into a gentle, knowing smile. I am the keeper of tales. And tonight, my dear Ella, there is one very special story waiting for you. But this is a story you won't just read. It's one you are destined to live. As she spoke, a single book, glowing with a soft, celestial light, drifted down from a high shelf and hovered in the air directly in front of Ella. Embossed on its cover in shimmering silver script were the words, "The star that lost its sky." The keeper of tales gestured toward it. "Open it," she urged softly, "and step inside." Ella's fingers trembled as she reached for the book. A thrill, a beautiful, terrifying thrill, ran through her. This was it. This was the adventure she had always yearned for. She looked from the book to the keeper, and with a newfound resolve, she whispered, "I'm ready." The moment her fingers touched the cover, the book flew open. An explosive, blinding white light erupted from its pages, engulfing the entire library, engulfing Ella herself. When the light subsided, she wasn't in the library anymore. She found herself standing on a soft, pillowy cloud, adrift in an endless expanse of deep indigo. All around her, stars flickered like millions of tiny, distant hearts. Then one star, dimmer than the rest, began to drift toward her. It trembled as it approached, its light weak and wavering. "I've fallen from the sky," the little star whispered, its voice filled with a profound sadness, "and I don't know how to shine anymore." A wave of empathy washed over Ella without a second thought. She reached out her hand, her touch gentle and reassuring. "Then I'll help you," she said, her voice firm and kind. "I'll help you find your light again." And so their incredible journey began. Together, Ella and the little star traveled through worlds spun from dreams and imagination. They navigated the forest of forgotten wishes, where ancient trees whispered the secrets of children's lost dreams into the wind. They sailed upon the river of reflections, a crystalline stream where the stars were forced to gaze into the water and confront their deepest fears. They bravely crossed the wind bridge, a perilous path made of nothing but pure, unshakable faith, suspended over a bottomless chasm. With every challenge they faced, the little star grew a little brighter, its light a little stronger, and with every step Ella learned something new and wonderful about herself. When the star began to doubt its own glow, flickering with uncertainty, Ella encouraged it, saying, "Even the smallest light can brighten the darkest night." Don't you ever forget that. When they found themselves lost amidst a confusing nebula of stardust, and the star wanted to give up, Ella gently guided it forward. "Keep moving," she urged. "Sometimes even a wrong step can lead you to exactly the right place." The little star would look at her, its light pulsing with gratitude, and its warmth would spread through Ella's own heart. Finally, after what felt like an eternity and no time at all, they arrived at the very edge of the sky. Before them stood a colossal gate made of shimmering rainbow-hued crystal. It pulsed with a powerful cosmic energy. "This is it," the star said, its voice now clear and steady. "This is where I belong." But I can't pass through unless someone believes in me completely. With all their heart, Ella carefully took the little star in both her hands, holding it close. She looked into its glowing core, no longer dim and trembling, but filled with a hopeful, resilient light. "I believe in you," she said with absolute certainty. "Not because you're perfect or the brightest star in the sky, but because you never stopped trying to shine, even when you were scared and lost." As she spoke those words, the great crystal gate began to hum. It swung open, revealing the breathtaking expanse of the heavens beyond. The little star soared from her hands, rising into the sky, its light erupting in a brilliant, joyful nova, shining brighter than any star Ella had ever seen. As it flew higher and higher to take its rightful place among its brethren, it called back to her, its voice echoing through the cosmos, "Thank you, Ella. Whenever you feel alone, just look for me in the night sky. I'll be your story." In a blinding flash of light, Ella found herself standing back inside the Midnight Magic Library. The Keeper of Tales was smiling at her, her eyes twinkling with pride. "You have completed your story, Ella, and because you lived it with such courage and heart, it will now live on forever." The glowing book, The Star That Lost Its Sky, gently closed itself and floated up to a special golden shelf. Ella looked up and saw that the shelf was labeled "Stories That Saved the Sky." She then looked around the vast library and realized that there were thousands upon thousands of such shelves, each filled with books, each book representing a person who had once stepped into the library and lived their own story. "Will I ever be able to come back?" she asked, a note of longing in her voice. The Keeper of Tales gave her a mysterious wink. "Every time you lose yourself in a book, every time you open your heart to a new story, you have already returned." The next morning, Ella woke up in her own bed, the morning sun streaming through her window. For a moment, she wondered if it had all been a dream. She rushed to the old library, her heart pounding. The doors were locked again, the windows just as dusty as before. But as she peered through the glass, she saw one new, impossible thing. There, traced on the dusty pane in elegant, silver letters, was her name, Ella Moon, Reader of the Stars. That night, and every night after, Ella would look up at the vast star-dusted sky, and every time she would find one particularly bright star that seemed to wink just for her, a secret shared between a girl and her story. The adventure taught her the greatest truth of all. Books don't just tell us stories. They are magical keys, reminding us that true magic begins the moment we dare to believe again. Thank you so much for joining me on this magical journey tonight. If you love stories that spark the imagination, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more adventures. Until next time, keep reading and keep believing.